basically, we were watching a movie with Mary and Jeremy over at their place the other night, and we decided to go ahead and watch the new Mario Bros. Movie, which, saw it. Not terrible, not amazing, but...
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, whatever, go on.
Anyway, I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it.
It's aimed towards children, but it's still a good movie. Yeah.
But anyways, I was just talking to them, and I'm like, the real question is not how good is the Mario Bros. Movie, but how good are the Zelda and Metroid movies going to be?
See,
and so that was last Tuesday that I said that,
Yeah.
and Gabe and Mary and Jeremy were all like, is there going to be a Zelda and Metroid movie?
Yeah, and then
Did
confirmed...
you see how much money it made?
Yeah.
And confirmed today they just finished the deal.
So there will be a Zelda movie.
Between Nintendo and Universal, which I guess means, is Illumination owned
Yeah,
by Universal?
yeah.
Okay, so Illumination will be doing it.
So what do you guys think they're going to cover in it?
I mean, it's
I
pretty
hope it's the stories of one of the main games or a new one.
They might just go totally new,
New story.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has to be. I mean, it has to be Link and Zelda. It's got to be. I think it needs to be Ganondorf over Ganon.
Yeah, I think I prefer
It needs to be
Ganon.
Dwarf.
Although, to be fair, Ganon is easy to build up as if they're aiming at younger kids. Ganon would be easier to build up as like a kind of a mindless bad guy or an evil guy, kind of like how that Bowser was almost.
Yeah.
So just kind of very one note.
I don't want Ganon. Like, I want Ganondorf in the first one. I don't want to see Ganon at all in the first one. I want that to be
the sequel.
You want to see Ganon,
I want to see
taking steps towards the Triforce of Power and
becoming
Ganon. Yes.
Yeah, well, and it's like he can, Ganon is just as ignorant as Link and Zelda. It's like he just has the spirit of it all. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know anything. So it's
Ganondorf is technically different because he's just a guy who's wanting to take over shit.
Yeah,
like, he's just an evil
literally
motherfucker.
just kind of like a despot.
Yeah.
So
it's
like
asshole.
there could be this whole story, and we could finally see like a more like in-depth version of like Ganon becoming his full strength.
And I saw
maybe some more Ganon perspective.
I saw an opinion from one of the entertainers that I watch, like a live streamer who's very big into Zelda and a lot of the same games I play, and it was a thing he said that I agree with 100%. If the Zelda movie is funny, it's bad. It can't be funny.
Yeah, that's true. Because it
needs to be closer to a horror movie. Ganondorf needs to be scary.
Yeah,
it can't be some
there can be funny moments, but it can't be a funny movie.
There needs to be some kind of comedic relief, though. There does.
Oh no, for sure, I agree.
Do you think Tingle's going to appear?
No, Tingle.
That's the comedic relief.
Yeah.
No, bad movie of Tingle.
Yeah, same Tingle, zero
The comedic
stars.
relief needs to be like those kind of things that
Beetle.
Link has to deal with. The Great Fairy, what the shit she does when you upgrade, like armor pieces and stuff. So her just giving the smooch and his like reaction to it. Just little funny things with Link. There should never be anything funny with Ganondorf or Zelda. Maybe a reaction between Zelda and Link.
I mean, Bowser
needs to be
he can be funny, but
Ganondorf can't.
He's no nonsense.
Yeah. And like this will also kind of change like who the Great Fairy is. Because like the Great Fairy, I always find it funny whenever they say the Great Fairy, and then you start the game and there's like 4 of them.
There's more Great Fairy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's like they're gonna have to they're either gonna like have to have some kind of like
the Koroks can be cute. They can have funny moments,
Oh yeah.
Right. But they're gonna have to have like some kind of civilization of Great Fairies.
But I need
or
to see
gonna
one get
have to be
absolutely
Great
decimated by Ganondorf's power and die. Like I need to see that in the movie too. Like I need to see death. I need Ganondorf killing people like he does.
Oh yeah.
Like we need to see that.
Redead. They could use Redead like an Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I mean, you could literally have highly end Redead.
Yeah, I need to see Gibdos killing Gerudo ladies. Like.
Isn't the Gibdos pretty much the Redead?
I think Gibdo are the same as Redead, or at least retrained.
They're pretty much the same. Just
they certainly look it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And then like we need a Dark Nut just cutting a Highland in half. We need some messed up stuff. That's for sure.
What's funny is like we were playing Smash Bros the other day, and Nadia was playing as Zelda, and she has the Dark Nut, and I was telling her that it was called the Dark Nut, and she was like, "Dark Nut? Like, is it nut? Like, seriously?" And it's like, yeah, I mean, to me it is.
Yeah.
Like it's the Dark Nut.
Dark Link would be cool to see in the movie.
Yeah. Is it Dark Link or Shadow Link?
Mirror Link.
Depends.
I think it has
on the
different
games.
Yeah. Not the same one.
If you're looking at like recent games, it's Dark Link.
Yeah, it's always called Dark Link when it's the outfit or something.
Shadow Link is like the one in like Adventures of Link, number like Zelda 2.
Yeah.
Like that's Shadow Link.
And the one people usually call Dark Link, it was originally Mirror Link, I believe, from like the Water Temple.
Yes.
I remember that boy.
So, yeah, and then
super easy.
I mean, hell, they could.
Huh?
Fuck the Water Temple.
I'd hate it if they did it, but if they did like not even Ganondorf, and it was like almost a Majora's Mask movie, I think that would be horrible. But I mean, who knows? They might not have Ganondorf be in it. But I think it needs to be Ganondorf.
Well, I'm curious as if they're going to be like kind of doing what they did with the Mario movie and kind of restarting on everything. Like this is going to be the first movie is going to be kind of the equivalent of like the first game chronologically, or
most people who know Zelda, they're going to think Ocarina. So if they're going to do any of the games, it needs to be Ocarina probably.
Right, not Skyward Sword.
It doesn't need to be Skyward Sword, no. Because I mean Skyward Sword's not even Hyrule, so. It's never referred to as Hyrule. It's
that
Skyloft.
Or they could.
So
we were thinking maybe there was going to be more Tweely or Twilight stuff.
Yeah.
With the game, but since there's not, that could be the IP they go with and go into like. That would also lend itself to a much darker, grittier.
Yes, it definitely would be darker that way.
A Twilight dimension. Then you could have someone like Zant potentially be like the person you think is the main antagonist or something like that. And then that kind of opens up the possibility for further movies and.
Well, Twilight Princess did sell double the copies of Wind Waker, and that's why there wasn't a Wind Waker 2.
Yeah.
So more people would know Twilight.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of people's favorite Zelda game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're gonna go with a Zelda game,
it's no Wind Waker,
and like story. I mean, the 3 biggest games they could do story for, I think, are Ocarina, Twilight, and probably honestly Wind Waker.
Yeah,
those would be the best stories.
Yeah,
and if they wanted to go the funnier route, it would be Wind Waker.
Yeah, but I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah, me either. And then the more grittier will be Twilight, and then the more balanced. Like really good story would be Ocarina.
But honestly, like if they did go with the Wind Waker, it would have like I feel like the most potential because it would have the full
especially
history.
aimed at children. Yeah, it would have full history.
It would have the full history, but then it would also be a complete refresh.
Yeah, it's the blankest slate they can have while still having all of their IP available.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then what I'm waiting for is when the movie comes out, and then people are like, "So what timeline is the Zelda movie?" If it's a
like
new story,
its own
secret fourth
timeline.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
how cool would that be if it was like the game or the movie was a standalone entry in the timeline? Like the.
I mean, honestly, I could live with that.
I can.
There's like 10,000 unknown years between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild and whatever happened before, right? Is what they say.
Yeah, the Breath of the Wild and any game before that.
Not between those 2 games, but between before them.
Well, and I'm wondering, like if they're changing it to where that 10,000 years is actually supposed to be the beginning of the timeline.
And they're putting these games at the beginning?
Well, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild? Well,
no,
because
they're where they're at towards the end, but the 10,000 years.
You think after Skyloft, you think they might be like right after Skyward?
Well, not necessarily right after Skyward.
Like,
I guess it would have to be.
I mean, not right after, because who knows how long it was before they called it Hyrule.
Right.
Because it was never Hyrule and Skyward Sword. It was always just Skyloft.
Well, and I think they do refer to it as Hyrule whenever she goes back in time. Do they not?
Mm-mm.
I think that...
they call Rauru the first king of Hyrule.
Exactly. So if they're going, that's why I think that... Yeah. I think the Zonai were down on the ground the entire time or they were in different Sky Islands and they knew about each other.
Yeah. Well, let's see. And I personally think that, honestly, I think it is plausible that they did kind of shrink it and fit all these games within 10,000 years, because I don't think that's so unreasonable.
No.
And,
I mean, in 10,000 years, you can get to fucking robots that shoot laser beams.
Oh,
yeah. Well,
I mean, humans are almost there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I actually feel like...
And there's still magic and shit in the Zelda universe with that, so...
Yeah, I feel like they just basically turned the timeline into an infinite loop. I think so. I think they basically just folded in on itself, because the Zonai stuff, all the Sky Islands basically came, rifting through from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And,
the other thing I've seen is that this is its own timeline, too. I've seen that. People say that, the Zonai stuff might be its own timeline. split off completely from the rest.
Now
there's two main timelines. There's the Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, and Ocarina, and then there's Skyward Sword that beats off to
be
Breath
honest,
of the Wild and
I don't know how.
Tears of the Kingdom.
I don't want another timeline.
No,
I'll take the timeline
convergence. But I'll take the convergence over a loop or an entirely new timeline.
I can be happy with the loop.
No, I hate the loop.
I dig the convergence still.
I would prefer
but I was that way
convergence
before when we recorded the other episode. So
yeah, I wasn't big on convergence before, but after stuff I've seen,
realizing the alternatives
and seeing alternatives, I'm more down with convergence. Sounds way better.
I think we can just keep getting badass Zelda games like every 10 years, kind of like the Bethesda release.
They've said the director for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's the new standard. They're not going to make any other kind of 3D game. It's going to be very similar to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe not the exact same, but like the open worldness of it and stuff like that, that's what it's going to be.
Well, and like Zelda is going to be completely different with the next handful of games. It's going to have to be. Hyrule, 100%. If they're sticking to the open world formula, Hyrule's been used. Mm-hmm. Like they could do the Twilight Realm. They could do another Wind Waker. Like I would be completely cool with the modern.
How long's it been since we've had a Light World, Dark World situation? You know, let's throw some fucking Dark World in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was always
the depths, but like that's not.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's like we need to go to a fucking reversed dark version of Hyrule. You know, because it can still look different from regular. Yeah, it can still look different from regular Hyrule because it's fucking. You know,
now they could introduce the Majora's Mask world. Was it Termina or
Termina?
Termina.
Termina.
Yeah.
Remember it because of Terminal.
Yeah, there we go.
But that's
Hellscape.
It's been a little while.
Which is basically just another continent.
Yeah, and I mean that would be cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to see there. Can you imagine like if they just gave Termina the Breath of the Wild treatment, made that world huge and expansive?
Right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, here's a scary thought. It's like every direct sequel, minus these ones, like damn near every direct sequel that we get doesn't feature Zelda and Ganon all the time. Like Majora's Mask, they were completely ripped.
Yeah, they're not there.
Yeah.
And what else was there? It's not too many direct sequels.
There's
if you look at
Phantom Hourglass and then Spirit Tracks, like they're
those Zelda though. I mean,
it has Zelda,
but it doesn't really. Yeah, but the bad guy's like completely different. There's like a completely different set of villains in both.
But I mean, there is kind of a standard for different villains in Zelda games. You had
Vati,
for sure. You had.
But there's like no mention of the other one, like
Girahim.
Well, Girahim was still just kind of Demise. Yeah, that's who he was subservient to.
Has Girahim been in any other games besides Skyward?
No, I think he was just...
And
he
so
probably
has
just an extension of Demise, right? He's like, he is to Demise what Fee is to Link.
Doesn't he perish at the end of that game?
Oh, I mean, Demise.
Oh, he's the sword.
Yeah,
he's the sword.
Demise is the sword.
Yeah, so he's sealed away.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
we need him to come out and resurrect. Well, I guess Ganondorf instead of Demise. And again, would be dope.
You know, it's funny. They've never made like a big deal about Ganondorf's sword. Like,
I mean, one of my favorite things at the start of
Tears
Tears of the Kingdom is when you're putting the sword, and it like you give it to Zelda after the little yellow light and stuff,
I loved all that.
and she holds it, and then the Fee sound happens. I'm like, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
The beep. It's the Fee sound from Skyward Sword. The exact same sound. It's whenever she'd want to talk to you in Skyward Sword. Like anytime the Master Sword beeps in Tears of the Kingdom, it's Fee.
Yeah.
Trying to say something.
God.
Yeah.
Is she still in the sword?
I mean, yeah, she is. Have you guys helped the main goddess statue in the Mysterious Temple yet? Because it's the huge one that's toppled over.
No, I have not.
I talked to the statue.
Because there's the other three statues. Like there's the statue of courage and wisdom and power.
Mm-hmm.
You can help them, and you get a pretty sweet reward when you help the three, because it helps the main goddess statue.
Oh, I got it.
And you get something cool. You get a weapon from a past hero, a past Link.
Oh.
Yeah, you get a sword from
Skyward
Sword.
Nice.
It is.
You get
the fucking Skyward Sword. I have the Skyward Sword around. It's not called the Skyward Sword, but it says in there.
Sky
it's a sword. This was the sword wielded by a hero who once lived in the sky. Like, basically what it says. It's a lot longer.
Made this sword.
And when you look at it, it's the first look of the Skyward Sword. Like, when you hold it, like, it almost looks like the Master Sword, but it's the first version of the Skyward Sword is what it is.
See, and how could that just gonna go exist unless the timeline folded in on itself?
Because it's the beginning of the timeline and these are at the end?
Wait, say what? You both said something at the same time. I did not register either thing.
Because the goddess Hylia is who gives it to you. She could,
so
because it's not the Master Sword and it's not the exact same sword, because it doesn't say Skyward Sword on it. You know, it's like the sword of blah 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 blah. You know, like it has light in there.
There's the Skyward Sword became the Master Sword.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then they would have to be different timelines, because you already have that sword, because it became the Master Sword.
Yeah, now we have two main timelines. We have the start where it's
Skyward Sword from another timeline, another dimension.
And then the second one is the start with the Zonai, and all the swords exist in the same place. So where do we get the Four Sword?
Yeah, I'm confused.
I do hate the loop though. I'm down with Convergence though.
Yeah,
because it does have all the races. You know, so
and just from a gameplay standpoint,
and now you get the
Convergence is the best for us personally.
Yeah, and you get the sword from a different location in Tears of the Kingdom than you do all the other timelines. So.
Oh yeah, it's like probably the most unique one.
But I mean, that's some crazy time travel magic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love like whenever they see Zelda, they're like, wow, you have powers of both, of like two different things.
Like, oh, cool.
And like, oh, you're special. And it's like, yeah, so why is the game's named after her?
Yeah, that's true.
Which, speaking of which, I wonder if like the story going forward is going to evolve around the fact of Zelda's current state, unless she just happens to revert back at the end of the game.
Well, one of the things when you do the Dragon Tears, you tell Impa what's going on, and she's like, oh, I'm going to look at old Sheikah stuff, and I bet there's a way to fix that. So Impa probably figures something out.
So I'm sure Impa will get it taken care of.
Impa probably will.
Plus, I mean, there is the whole reincarnation thing.
And it also brings the Sheikah back to doing shit.
But do you think they would take it out of the reincarnation cycle? Because how long does that live? How long's that?
I think that'd be infinite, but if there's no one to have died...
Yeah, so how does it... So that might pose a potential problem.
I mean, that's why I think it's Convergence, and because this... Zelda was originally Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Zelda. She just went back in time, so she still originally the spirit still went down all these other timelines to make it there.
She's like her own ancestor now in a weird way.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like her own weird thing.
Exactly, except it's like times to the 10th power.
Yeah, because she's the descendant of the first king and queen. So.
Weird.
Yeah. I like that that she was a darker skinned Thailand too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rauru, he get the ladies.
He knows where it's at. I had a question. If they were to do basically just an adaptation of, say, Ocarina of Time for the Zelda movie, how would you guys feel about that? If there's not that much new stuff.
If they do an adaptation, I'm fine with that. I am.
I think that looking at that. Honestly, it might be thinking about it. It might be the best option for a movie adaptation because of the fact of where you start. Like you're in the forest with all the Karat kids,
and it's so recognizable for so many people.
Yeah, and it's it has a lot of potential. Like you could, and then also the kids aren't horribly evolved and disfigured yet to the Karats.
Yeah, it'd be weird if they did the first game, The Legend of Zelda, when it's like Link walks into a cave and he's like, here's a sword, take this.
Yeah.
Just some old fucker giving a kid a sword for the start of a movie. Probably wouldn't work out as great. That's what I think. Ocarina would probably be the best one for them to adapt for sure.
That would be cool if they had
Wind Waker would be
Wind Waker has a good
just
start.
Just as good, I think, too, though.
And Twilight has a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those have the best ones, which, I mean, hell,
those were the three that you
if they did Breath of the Wild, that's also a great start.
Yeah. I don't see them making it out of, the newest one.
No, it's too new. They won't. But
they're going to want to hit some of the nostalgia buttons.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I think we're looking at probably the GameCube, Nintendo 64 era type stuff is what we're going to end up with.
I guess they could do Skyward Sword. I mean, it's not.
I think it's probably too controversial.
But I think it is.
People really were not wild about it when it came out, a lot of them.
Because the game is basically just one big fucking dungeon.
Yeah.
Wait, which one did you say it was?
Skyward Sword. You go back and forth to the same places, so the game itself is just like one dungeon.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess so. Yeah. I can see that.
I guess from a meta context, you can argue that about any video game.
I mean, yeah, but like in the realm of like how Zelda games are set up and stuff like that, there's not a lot of returning to the same place unless it's Light World, Dark World stuff.
Yeah,
and then the temples are still different from each other.
Yeah.
And Skyward Sword, it's not completely because there's still times when you're flying around on the loft wings and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But you go back to the other temples to do shit like constantly. So it's like. Yeah, there's it's just if anytime you're doing anything, it feels like it's back to the same dungeon I was already doing. So no dungeon time.
Yeah, and that's
no longer free roam time. It's dungeon time.
Yep.
Yeah, and honestly, like thinking back on that, because each area you go back to and expand the map on.
Yeah,
and then the expanded parts weren't terrible, but at the same time, it's like, you basically have your 3 areas, and then the areas 4, 5, and 6 are attached to these areas, and they look exactly like the first areas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except maybe it's like, it's the desert, and now, there's the water now. It's
yeah.
Like, okay,
and
that's great, but I'm still looking at desert everywhere.
Fight the imprisoned in that game?
3?
3 for sure.
3 times.
Probably
I think
4 on the final one. I think.
I don't remember. It's been years since I've actually played the game to the end. So.
Do you guys like that Groose is the originator of the Gerudo?
Yeah. I think that's awesome. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wait, the originator?
He's the original Gerudo.
The progenitor.
Because he has the red hair
Gerudo.
like all Gerudos do, and he's darker skinned, and he would have been a male. And he started the Gerudo.
I guess he found a massive harem somewhere.
Yeah, he probably did. That's what he wanted. I mean, after he didn't get Zelda, because it's pretty much confirmed that Link and Zelda do get together.
Yeah.
So he had to go. He's like, you know what? But he probably kept getting more women because he couldn't fill the hole in his heart for Zelda. So he had to get more and more women. So boom, Gerudo. And
I hate how Cruz is responsible for so fucking much. He's also responsible for the birth of the Taken trees.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and for some reason, he's a fucking like craftsman genius who makes like the fucking rail around that shoots the fucking cannonballs at the in prison.
It's like, oh yeah, you don't
and
like
he
this
built
guy,
that in like
but
2
he gets
days.
his comeuppance, he's gonna fall. Oh, but he's super important.
Yeah. Like early on, you just fucking hate Groose, and then like
he's my boy by the end
but
of the game.
then he's like sad when Impa is old and dies. It's like,
oh wow, that's
he's like the only one who's like actually sad.
Yeah, weirdly human of you.
Yeah. It's like, so okay, Groose is just he's just a dick.
Yeah.
So it's like,
he's a complicated guy.
It makes perfect sense because apparently all Gerudo dudes are fucking dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all born with a hole in their heart for Zelda that they can never fill.
Also, he's way fucking bigger than everybody else. And so is Ganondorf.
Yep.
So that's why that there's so many things that point to him being a Gerudo. Because he's got the red hair, he's got a little bit darker skin than everybody else. I mean, he didn't live in the desert, but...
I mean, at the end of the game, he didn't, but doesn't mean he never moved.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But then how does Ganondorf get birthed out of that?
Well, there's the thing where a Gerudo male can only be born every, 100 years?
And I think 100 years is what they say in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. So I mean...
So it means there have only been
and I think it was part of the prophecy
males.
that it would be a Gerudo male.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably Demise's way of cursing Groose's bloodline, too.
Probably. It's like, you eat a dick.
Yeah,
your
kids eat a dick for helping Link and Zelda.
Conquerors.
So your late descendant is gonna be my reincarnation.
Yeah. When do you think maybe Groose is just the perfect host for Demise?
Yeah.
Is the exact right balance of physical prowess and emptiness.
Yeah. And a weak enough mind that he can take it over with ease.
Yeah. Oh,
there's any number of ways we can spin this.
Yeah, exactly. And then, for whatever reason, there's people who are like, oh yeah, and then the Loftwings became Rito, and it's like, no, they didn't. No, they're just still up in the sky. They didn't want to leave.
Yeah, it's like they're pretty high up there.
Yeah, they're fucking super high up there. They're just hanging out.
Just how high they are.
They have like their own atmosphere. Like they
don't need to come down here.
So you've only done the Zora temple.
Yeah,
and that boss fight. How many of the temples have you done?
4.
You've done all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was your least favorite? Because I have an answer. It just annoyed me.
For sure the ice one, or the wind one.
The wind one? Oh, mine was the fire temple.
Really?
Yeah, I hated that temple.
Oh, it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, just going through it with all the things, I just got pissed off so many times. I don't know why I had trouble with it, but for whatever reason, I just got annoyed with it.
I bought the flameproof armor way early
on. I had the flameproof
armor. So, yeah, I don't know if that
it
made
was
a difference,
it was just the amount of what you had to do to open all the things. Like, just the amount of different things you had to go to get to certain areas that I just did not like.
Kind of cheesed that one a little bit.
I had to, and that's when it was way better. But I was trying to do it like legit, and that's what was pissing me off.
But no, I was still way underpowered when I did the ice temple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wind temple. Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so annoying, and I kept running out of like cold resistant food.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, that's the one I did first. I did wind temple first.
So did I. The boss was not that bad.
Oh, boss was very fun.
It's just fine.
Simple. Yeah.
But.
And then I liked the boss fight for the fire temple was great. I enjoyed
went and
that.
fucked up Goma in the underground.
Oh yeah. I went. I fought him in the underground too. He's the boss I fought twice.
Yep.
So I want to ask you guys, when it came to the water temple, and then they had those bubble things, and it's like you're in that first area, and then all your switches are all off on these floating islands. How did you guys get there, or what's the thing that you tried to get there?
I mean, I mostly just rocket shielded.
Okay. It was like, how long did it take you?
Like the whole temple?
No, just to figure that one part out.
Oh.
What I did was I pulled out my glider, and then I had to undo his gust. That's how I did it.
I didn't even have that. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
I did a lot of climbing and ascending when I could.
It's hard to say how long it took me to figure out that particular problem, because I think I just did that whole temple start to finish in like 20 minutes.
So. Yeah, I did it pretty quick too.
I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out how the fuck to get that bubble across so that I could write it.
That one specific bubble that's just sitting there.
This is like, and then I'm just treating it like an old-fashioned Zelda game, and then like eventually,
I saw the thing that
I just cheesed it.
I saw the same design that was on it up there, and I was like, oh, I just need to do this with these.
Yeah.
So then it starts moving once you clear up some stuff.
The water temple was the fourth one for me though, so my brain is fully in like hacks mode. I've learned how this game works. It wants you to solve problems.
It was my second temple. I went Rito, Zora, Goron, and then I went Gerudo. I did the opposite of Breath of the Wild.
And I did
Breath of the Wild. I did Garuda. I did Gerudo, Goron, Zora, Rito.
And I did Rito, Goron, Gerudo, Zora.
Oh, in Breath of the Wild?
No.
Oh, in this
one. Kingdom.
Okay.
In Breath of the Wild, I did Zora, Goron, Rito, Gerudo.
Okay. Which I guess in Breath of the Wild, I've heard it from a lot of people that like everyone does Gerudo last.
Yeah, I had the Thunder Helm though, so it was like whatever.
Yeah, I hate desert areas, so I was like, I'll get it out of the way first. Desert areas.
What do you think about like the sand speeders though? And doesn't that make the Gerudo Desert a lot more fun in Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I haven't gotten that yet.
It's just a sled
it's just stuff
with a fan on it.
When you go over to stuff where you can there's random shit you just put
But it's great for getting across the quicksand and stuff.
I gotcha.
I made a huge one.
Actually, no, I think I have done that in like a shrine. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh, shrines are great for testing stuff out because you have unlimited battery. So
yeah,
but you can't access your Zonai devices like your personal.
No, you can't. But some of the shrines are all about the constructs and building things, and if you do the extra stuff, you'll get access to more parts and pieces.
Yes, as you go through it.
Yeah. Just remember to take stuff with you.
Yeah.
But
what's your favorite Zonai device to put on a shield?
On a shield?
The
cart.
Like cart. So you can
just a skateboard,
skateboard around.
Yeah,
that's always
how you get
around.
I don't currently have a Zonai device on a shield because I have a frozen steak on my shield for sledding purposes.
Apparently the thing that'll get you the furthest is a minecart on the shield for rolling. Yeah.
Really? I'll have to try that.
That's the longest. So apparently a minecart. It's just barely over one of the four-wheeled carts.
I haven't tried this yet, but I saw it online.
And ice is, I think, right after that, or like just a step below, something like that.
But this is like one of the next things I'm going to do as soon as I get on is like I'm going to attach a glider to a shield.
Oh, so you get extra jump.
Well, I'll say like I'm just going to do that and jump off fucking Sky Island and equip it and just see where I go.
I mean, yeah, I just wish the wings didn't time out so quickly.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, the wings are annoying only for that reason.
Mm-hmm. And that's like the one thing that has the shortest time on it.
Yeah, they have such short time.
I think what next most annoying to me at least is the balloons.
Yeah.
They time out too quickly.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a balloon time. The only thing I've seen time out is the glider.
Yeah,
I guess
I haven't used a balloon high enough, I guess.
Yeah, no. I usually use balloons just to kind of get where I need to and then ditch them. So.
I mean, I like to push limits of stuff. So as soon as I figured out that the balloon could just take me straight up, I was like, I'm gonna see how high up it will go.
I'll get one of those Zonai shields that has like 50 strength, and then
the
like
mighty
makes that
Zonai
last
shields.
And I put a spring on it. I love using springs, but it's a one-time use if you jump and boing up.
Yeah, that seems silly.
I use it for defensive purposes only, because when they hit it,
they spring back.
They sprung back, and I run over there.
That's. I took on Lord
and it lasts a really long time for that reason. Like I'll spring so many enemies before it breaks.
So I took on.
Takes forever.
I took on Hylian shield then. Yeah, I took on Lurlin.
It'll actually not last as long because being a Zonite. Thing on a Zonite thing, it's supposed
to. The durability on a Hylian shield is just so much higher than
it is,
else,
but they're not always hitting the shield when they get sprung.
Yeah,
is the thing. They will hit it sometimes depending on the enemy type, but yeah, if they're getting hit every time, then the Hylian shield will work way better. Which I have a shit ton of royal shields right now, which are like 70 or something, and I'm like in my inventory because I went to Hyrule Castle, so.
So whenever I got to Lurlin, like I was a little too underpowered for that challenge, but that was basically my technique.
Have you explored enough that silver enemies are popping up everywhere now?
Oh yeah.
Do they get gradually more consistent?
So there's an invisible experience system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches.
So the more enemies you fight, the tougher enemies start showing up.
It's the same. It's very similar to the one in Breath of the Wild.
There's a silver bokoblin at every camp I go to now. Usually a silver moblin.
Yes.
Also, there's several silver Lizalfos I've found.
Yep.
And I've started running into hordes like the silver boss bokoblins with his little horde of...
pretty much everywhere I go right now, especially in the harder areas, like if there's a silver moblin boss, it's him and 3 silver bokoblins. I'm like, everything's fucking silver now. Which is fine, because I'm just fusing silver things to my weapons. And
silver Lionel Saber horns are what I've been using.
That's why I need to go grind out more Lionels. Oh my god,
and they are good.
Anytime that I'm trying to get stuff to spawn faster, I'll go run around and just start clearing out fucking camps just so the Blood Moon will happen faster.
Oh yeah. Does that make it happen faster?
So the way that the Blood Moon happens, it's a memory thing. So the more that you go and do, its memory fills up more. Because it remembers all the shit you've done. And then once it gets to a certain point, I think it's 90% Blood Moon happens, because Blood Moon resets its memory back down to 0.
Yeah, because it revives everything.
Yes.
Also, it revives all my pet rocks.
Everything you did. Yeah.
Have you guys been feeding your weapons to Octoroks?
No.
Not really. I did a couple weapons to get like the attack plus 10 or whatever that you can get.
It's good.
Yeah,
because you can upgrade shit. Yeah.
Well, and if you get a Savage Lionel bow, they can upgrade it to a 5-shot. Yeah, you might have to save and reload a few times, but just make sure you kill the pet rock afterwards so it can spawn on a Blood Moon.
Yeah.
If you just keep throwing it back in, it just changes the buff, right?
No, I think it'll only change the buff once.
Yeah.
So what does it do?
It'll keep repairing it, I think.
It does keep repairing. Yeah.
But it'll only change the buff when it does that.
Yeah. There's like the sparkle. Lights that come off of it. Yeah.
I gotcha.
But you have to save and reload every time to change the buff.
Yeah, it does do durability, I'm pretty sure, every time.
What now?
It does repair.
Yeah, I think it repairs the durability every time.
Yeah, and
but I have like 15 or so rock Octoroks marked with hearts up in the Elven area on my map.
Yeah.
And every time there's a Blood Moon, I just go fix my better weapons that I want to keep
Anytime
around.
I find the sign guy and he's in an area where there's not a lot of shit and I don't want to deal with it, I put a little person like where he's at, like I'll come back to him later.
I've been cheesing some of those with hoverstones when I don't want to deal with it.
Oh, yeah.
Just take out the Zonai hoverstone.
I should do that, but there's one place that I'm at right now by one of the statues, I think the Statue of Power. All there's that's around, like nearby at all, are 2 big rocks. And I'm like, I'm going to need more than these 2 big rocks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I marked him. I'm like, I'm going to come back to him later. I'll just use some Zonai devices.
Yeah.
God, there was one where it was like, all I had around was rocks. And like, I put 2 on, didn't work. Put 3 on, didn't work. Put 4, it was like, okay, the fourth one, that'll hold it. And like, what the fuck?
Falls right over?
Yeah, what the fuck? And then I ended up having 8 rocks. Just not even trying, just being like, fuck it, just keep adding rocks until it holds.
Did you guys do the one with the snowballs yet?
Mm-hmm. I had that one on my first try.
I did 2 giant snowballs, and it was my first try too, but I just smashed 2 snowballs together. And they were so big that it couldn't fall forwards.
Yep.
That's beautiful. I haven't gotten
because it was rolling down the hill, it started getting too fast, like, ultra hand it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took the other one.
Nothing gets my heart racing more than something rolling away and trying to catch it with ultra hand.
But then I realized with the second one, just moving it around in the snow made it bigger. So I did that with the second one. Yeah. I just moved it back and forth. The fucking snowball was huge. I was like,
oh my god, the fucking recall and ultra hand saves so much time.
Oh, recall's so great.
Whenever I sometimes
I use it in fights a lot. Recall.
Sometimes whenever I'm getting a Karok somewhere, and if it's like on a mountain or something, what I'll do is I'll just like attach him to the air balloon, send him up, and then climb the mountain, and then recall. And whenever he's like back to where he was, then I just grab him.
I use my 4-engine hover bike for Koroks basically all the time.
Yep. Yeah, it's super easy. You just connect it to the back fan, and up you go.
Away we go.
Yeah, it's very, very useful. You guys like the name of the horse that I sent you? I don't remember if you responded, but I know you did.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Zelda's golden horse, and I named it Tri-Horse.
Aww.
I called mine Raisins.
Tri-Horse, yeah.
So
I have a lot of. I have both of the giant horses that are in the game.
I only have the one because I started it on my OLED Switch instead of my Switch that has the Breath of the Wild playthrough on it.
Yeah.
So I didn't transfer like the Royal
I started
horse and
my Breath of the Wild is also
that.
on a different Switch, so none of my stuff transferred over either. So
yeah, I haven't gone around to catch all of them.
I got the one Epona.
Catch Zeldas. I need to get my Epona amiibo so that I can get Epona.
Yeah.
And say like I deleted my original game way back when to start over on it.
I planned to 100% it, so 1,000 Korok seeds, here I come.
I'm not sure. Like, I love Breath of the Wild. I'm not sure I'll ever play it again.
No, it's like, why would you have this play?
Yeah, Kingdom's really good.
Honestly, like, I've told people who haven't played Breath of the Wild, like, just skip it. Yeah, skip it.
It's so good.
Watch a story recap and then play
Tears of the Kingdom.
If you've never played Breath of the Wild, like, just
find a cutscene with all the memories on YouTube or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that, like, someone could do okay at playing Tears of the Kingdom and then going back to play Breath of the Wild, but not for the emergence of it, but just go through the story really quickly.
Yeah.
Because you get the training from Tears of the Kingdom, and
so you already know how to fight.
Yeah, and it's like you don't need to do the nitty gritty in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I love the name of the incident that happens at the beginning of the game in Tears of the Kingdom. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, that's such a good name. The Upheaval.
Oh, yes.
I like that.
It's such a good name. I'm like, yes.
Fantastic.
Like, very accurate. And did you notice that the holes into the depths are where old shrines used to be in Breath of the Wild?
I did not.
Yeah, they're where old shrines used to be. The
Interesting.
Holes. Yeah. So
well, shit, that makes sense.
Maybe where the old shrines went, they probably went and got destroyed when they hit the depths. Yeah, because they're just Sheikah technology. So yeah, they're probably smashed to pieces. I mean, there's no more fucking guardians or anything. So.
Yeah. Have you gotten Majora's Mask yet?
No, I haven't. Okay. I still need to go do it, and I don't have the amiibo to get any of that. So
it's super easy to find the Coliseum because it's the Coliseum right below the outskirts stable.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
that's super easy. I'll probably do that tomorrow or sometime this weekend then. And I need some Lionel shit anyways, so.
Yeah. Well, you get all the Lionel shit you'll ever want if you finish that Coliseum.
Good.
Anyway, on that, thank you for listening.
Yes. Tell us what your favorite Zonai device is in the comments.
Yes. Tell us all about your Zelda experience and how little progress you've made in 100 fucking hours.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I'm gonna get. There's no way my Traveler's Medallion records all my progress.
Goodbye.